Good evening and warm welcome of everybody to our special edition of Monthly Market Strategy. On the last day of the financial year, the Nifty closed nearly 20% higher as compared to its previous close. The previous close was somewhere around 14,650, 690 levels. From there, all the way the market closed very close to the 17,700 levels. And the market faced several developments during the year, such as Omicron spread, rollback of stimulus from the US, the war between Ukraine and Russia, then unusual jump in the crude oil prices and gold prices, uninterrupted rally in the dollar index, UP elections, and the most significant event was the biggest selling from FIIs. Thanks to the retail investors and domestic institutions for absorbing the selling pressures, nearly 70-75% of what FI sold during the period. So FI sold nearly 2,78,000 crores during the financial year of 2021-22, and domestic institutions bought nearly 2 lakh crores. So it clearly shows that now whatever the sell-off FIs did in that particular period is gone in the strong hands, and that's why the market is not falling. It is recovering from the lower levels, or it is at least not collapsing. It is maintaining about its crucial important areas, and whenever there is like any specific positive developments, we are seeing uptick in the market. So markets are now very close to its important resistance level, and there are like many more facts as well as stories on which my team member Mr. Sumit will throw light. So over to Sumit for his take on the market for the month of April. Over to Sumit.
Thank you very much. I will explain the details with a PowerPoint presentation. Next, please. So the underlying theme for this presentation is that we need to be cautious but not fearful, and market has rewarded all those people who have followed this. They have been selective in their stock strategy. They have focused on quality stocks, and those has given a really good returns. A lot of global nonsense was going on, but that people who have ignored that and focused on the fundamentals of the company, they have really got benefited. Next, please. If we look at the global indices in FY22, it will be surprising for you to note that Nifty reported second best return in last 7 years, and it has outperformed all other global markets. Whether you take MSCI World Index or you take smaller Asian countries like Indonesia, Singapore, Hong Kong, we have outperformed all of them. To add further to your surprise, global market cap increased by 6%, while India's market cap rose by 23% in FY22. India is shining and performing well. India's share in world market is 2.9%. So people ask me how big Indian market cap can become. So my answer is that we are just less than 3% of the world market cap. The scope is huge. We can really grow bigger from current status. Next, please. Now, if we look at sector indices performance, Nifty, as I said, has given almost an impressive 19% return, despite multiple challenges which we have seen during the year. Returns were supported by easy monetary policy and strong earnings recovery. As Shrikant has already explained, that domestic flows have absorbed a lot of FII flows. FII flows has been, India was witnessing FII flow continuously from last 5 consecutive years, but this last year we had seen a lot of outflows. So point is that if you look at the sectors, BSE Utilities and BSE Metal has given spectacular returns in FY22. If going ahead, if we look sectors which has performed poorly in last year, if things change, then definitely these sectors can perform really good in FY23. For example, BSE FMCG, BSE Auto, and BSE Bankex, they have not done very well. If we look at BSE BankX, then private banks business environment is recovering and there is a healthy earnings outlook. So why shouldn't we focus on these uh, quality stocks? Valuations are reasonable. Obviously, there is a reason that these stocks had seen a lot of NPA issues in the past, but that is behind us. यहाँ से हमें आगे देखना है तो ये सेक्टर्स जिन्होंने अंडर परफॉर्म किया है पास्ट लास्ट ईयर और जहां पे वैल्यूएशन कंफर्ट मिल रहा है वहां पे वी हैव टू फोकस एंड वी हैव टू रियली लुक फॉर quality stocks and with some long-term vision. For example, BSC Auto, if you look at uh, passenger vehicle and commercial vehicle demand, this is on track. So for tractors or two-wheelers, is their demand is subdued. But can't we focus on companies which are doing really good in personal vehicle or commercial vehicle? We can definitely look at those stocks, and we will share some ideas with you in the presentation going ahead. So point is that there is ample opportunity to make money in the market right now. Also, we have to identify good bets, good companies at a reasonable valuation. Next, please. If we look at the global markets, progress in Russia-Ukraine negotiation and market hoping for normalization. So this is quite encouraging for global markets, and that is why global equity markets are strong, and we have seen some correction in commodities. So point is that if the immediate issue of war which is behind it and which is already been in the price to a large extent, these concerns are behind us and are on its way to normalization. The bigger concern, according to me, is Federal Reserve, which is raising rates by 25 basis points, and soon in May they will start tapering, QE tapering. They will start, so that will become a issue, according to me. Bank of England raised its key policy rate by 0.25%. However, Bank of Japan and ECB maintain status quo on rates. At this juncture, what market is focusing on? Market क्या देख रहा है? ये सब हो गया है, सबको मालूम है ये रेट बढ़ गई, ये तो प्राइस इन हो चुका है. मार्केट देख रहा है कि de-escalation हो गया है जियोपॉलिटिकल टेंशन का. Fed is to a large extent priced in है. Commodity prices have started correcting because of lower demand and normalization of things, geopolitical issues. Crude has also corrected drastically from its highs, and we are seeing continuous correction now. तो मार्केट इन सब फैक्टर्स पे फोकस कर रहा है. इमीडिएटली अगर अपन कुछ देखें तो कोविड कुछ केसेस वापस चाइना और साउथ कोरिया और यूके में बढ़ना चालू हो गए हैं. इनफैक्ट यूके में आज ही नया एक वेरिएंट डिस्कवर किया गया है. सो पॉइंट इज दिस news will keep flowing in, but what we need to see is how the earnings are recovering, how the companies are taking care of their raw material prices, and how they are managing their working capital cycle. Next, please. Now coming to domestic market, as I mentioned, the CPI inflation, मतलब inflation बढ़ रहा है. In fact, February का CPI inflation rose to an 8-month high of 6.07% from 6.01% in January 2022. Definitely, India is highly dependent on crude oil prices, and crude oil prices are continuously going up. That is led to higher inflation in February. और इसी के कारण वी एक्सपेक्ट आरबीआई को टू हाइक रेपो रेट बाय 50 बेसिस पॉइंट इन FY23, बट टाइमिंग कब बढ़ाएगी, कौन से क्वार्टर में बढ़ाएगी, वो देखने की बात है. ऑन अ पॉजिटिव साइड, recent election outcomes are favorable for India, and now government is focusing on governance and economic reforms. That is quite positive for markets. So strong earnings and retail market participation will support market breadth. We find reasonable risk and reward in financial, capital goods, real estate, and chemicals. So we are very bullish on these sectors. We have been continuously recommending कि banking में बहुत scope है पैसा बनाने का. Valuations are reasonable. Selectively, you can look quality stocks and you can invest in that. Next, please. One most important thing जो market has realized and which is really can become a really big for economy is PLI. PLI में क्या हो रहा है, गवर्नमेंट ने इनिशियली बोला कि हम मोबाइल पे प्रोडक्शन लिंक्ड इंसेंटिव बेसिकली, उसमें बोला कि हम मोबाइल्स यहाँ पे आप सेटअप प्लांट्स सेटअप करिए, हम टैक्स बेनिफिट्स देंगे, अदर लेबर इश्यूज आपको सॉल्व करके देंगे। सो पॉइंट है कि गवर्नमेंट का थ्रस्ट है कि यहाँ पे ग्लोबल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनीज यहाँ पे आ जाए, यहाँ पे प्रोडक्शन करे। ग्लोबल मार्केट्स ऑब्वियसली चाइना +1 सप्लाई मार्केट देख रहा है, इंडिया इज ट्राइंग टू ग्रैब दैट अपॉर्चुनिटी। तो एवरेज एनुअल रेवेन्यू पूल डायरेक्टली क्रिएटेड फ्रॉम PLI इज 5 to 6 लाख करोड़ रुपीज। सो दिस इज क्वाइट अ बिग नंबर। ये इंडिया की GDP को हेल्प करेगा। अब पीपल विल से यार PLI के अंदर वो अपन केवल असेंबलिंग का काम कर रहे हैं आज, but we are not doing the hardcore research and development. But look at that, initially it's a baby steps. Initially हमने बोला कि आप असेंबलिंग का काम करिए यहाँ पे, फिर नेक्स्ट स्टेप बोल रहे हैं कि क्यों ना आप यहाँ पे चिप मैन्युफैक्चरिंग चालू कर दीजिए। सो ग्रेजुअली वी आर इंचिंग अप हायर एंड हायर, सो वी आर मूविंग स्लो एंड स्टडी। हमको लगता है कि इंडिया की GDP कैन ग्रो बाय 8 to 9% इन FY22 एंड 8.1% इन FY23। अब जो मार्केट में अगर आप पॉजिटिवली आउटलुक से करेंगे काम, तो आपको देखने को मिलेगा कि बहुत मेजर पॉजिटिव डेवलपमेंट्स हो रहे हैं। HDFC रजिस्टर्ड इंडिविजुअल लोन ग्रोथ ऑफ 12% इन Q4। इसका क्या मतलब है? लोन ग्रोथ बुक बढ़ रही है, people are borrowing, they see visibility, businesses are growing, that is why people are taking loans. Plus Maruti is saying कि हम 6 लाख CNG यूनिट्स बेचेंगे नेक्स्ट करंट फाइनेंशियल ईयर में। What does that mean? That there is a strong inherent demand. अगर इतनी यूनिट्स गाड़ियां बिकेगी CNG की, तो CNG की डिमांड बढ़ेगी, तो इट विल बी बेनिफिशियल फॉर लॉट ऑफ सिटी गैस डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कंपनीज लाइक महानगर गैस, IGL. So we can connect these dots and identify good quality stocks. GST collection rise to an all-time high of 1.42 lakh crore rupees. This is all-time high. That means economy is recovering a lot. We have to just focus on quality stocks which has a clear revenue visibility, earnings visibility, and strong promoter pedigree. हमको लगता है निफ्टी 50 की EPS can grow by 15.8% in FY23, which will result into EPS of 854 rupees, and 13.1% in FY24, which will result in 975 rupees. Market will focus now on Q4 earnings and management commentary. Next, please. So road ahead for FY23 is that PLI, which I explained, that India is trying to becoming a manufacturing hub, and we are moving in the right direction. Secondly, if you look at, there is a lot of consolidation is happening, that big is becoming bigger, strong is becoming stronger, like HDFC Bank is and HDFC Limited. So that will create a lot of synergies among them. So they will become much bigger now. Real estate and home improvement is happening. That means there will be a lot of demand to ancillary industries. The sector is expected to do well. In fact, the recent increase in the raw material prices, our analysts believe that the companies will be able to pass it on by increasing the prices. So that itself shows that there is a huge inherent demand which will support the price increase. As I mentioned, China One policy, which will be supportive for India. Digitalization and financial solutions are growing very fast in India. That is again positive for India. We are not a traditional economy anymore. We are moving in line with the global markets. What's happening on the global economy, we are moving in that direction. Next, please. What are the key risks? According to me, the biggest risk is the inflation. Why? Because inflation is very sticky in nature. And if inflation will go up, then Fed will be forced to continuously keep increasing rates. That will be marginally negative for equities, because if bond yields started giving you very good returns, then you will expect much higher return from equities. तो वहां पे आपकी कॉस्ट भी बढ़ती है, वेटेड एवरेज कॉस्ट बढ़ जाएगी, उससे भी थोड़ा इश्यूज आएंगे। तो बॉन्ड यील्ड्स, फेड रेट, इन्फ्लेशन, ये सब बहुत साइड चीजें हैं अपने को देखने का। इन्फ्लेशन क्यों बढ़ रहा है? इन्फ्लेशन बढ़ रहा है बिकॉज ऑफ सप्लाई साइड इश्यूज प्लस डिमांड साइड। सप्लाई साइड इशू इसलिए है क्योंकि सडनली रशिया यूक्रेन का वॉर हो गया, जो ग्लोबल सप्लाई थी वो डिस्टर्ब हो गई, क्रूड प्राइसेस इंचिंग अप, सप्लाई कंसर्न्स चालू हो गए अगेन, सो दिस ऑल लीड टू इन्फ्लेशन. बट डोंट यू थिंक दीज आर टेम्परेरी? ये वॉर कभी ना कभी तो खत्म हो ही जाएगी, या मार्केट इसको डिस्काउंट कर लेगा कि इट्स गोइंग टू बी वेरी नॉर्मल थिंग. सो ब्रॉडली हमें लगता है कि एक इन्फ्लेशन को देखना चाहिए, बाकी सप्लाई साइड विल इंप्रूव ग्रेजुअली एंड दिस विल बूस्ट India's as a production manufacturing hub. Next, please. So if we look at the valuations, we believe that Nifty trades at a 12-month forward P of almost 19.8 times, near its long-term average of 9.3 times. So broadly, if you look, it's reasonably valued. It's just that the earnings visibility is quite high at this point in time. What we needs to see is how the raw material pricing will play out. Whether the companies are be able to pass on the increase in the raw material prices or not, that we need to see. Next, please. Now, I hand over to Rini.
Thank you, Sumit, for such a detailed presentation. Dear viewers, that was a complete outlook and strategy on markets and economy. Now, to make the most of the current market scenario, our research team has six top stock picks for you, which they will talk about in a bit. First, Sumit, I would like to take a couple questions from our audience related to markets. One participant is asking, Sensex reclaimed 60,000 and Nifty 18,000. Where do you see markets going from here?
Yeah. So as I explained in my presentation, that if you look at the total global market size, market cap of the world markets, then we are just 2.9% of it. So the scope for India to grow is much higher. Secondly, if you look India, all the variables are working for us. We have a very political stability is there in India. We are moving towards digitalization. The GST collections are improving. Digitalization is happening at a very fast pace. Because of that, the tax base is increasing. What will happen when more people will come into tax bracket? Your average corporate tax rate will come down. That will make India further attractive for foreign investors. So more FDI will come. PLI is playing a really good role in making India a global manufacturing hub. So हमें लगता है कि अभी स्कोप बहुत लंबा है इंडिया के लिए. शॉर्ट टर्म में in between some negatives will keep coming like war, crude price and all that, but India is capable of handling such issues. In fact, this also gives you opportunity to buy quality stocks at a reasonable valuation. So I think the road is much ahead to go.
Right. Thank you, Sumit. Guys, we will try and answer as many questions as possible in the Q&A session. I see we have some queries on HDFC after yesterday's merger news. Guys, our BFSI special analyst Hemali is here with us and she will try and address your queries soon. So stay with us till the end. Right now, I would like to call upon Sumit once again for his stock idea from IT space.
So in IT space, we like Infosys. We believe it's a pure buy and we believe the fair value is 2,100 rupees. In IT now, क्या हो रहा है कि demand environment is very promising. Tech spending by customers remains very strong. So continuously we are getting orders from US, Europe, and that is increasing the order book size of these companies. Cloud has become really big. Cloud, data, artificial intelligence, automation, cyber securities are key client priorities. और ये सब outsource हो रहा है इंडिया में. Indian companies has coped up very fast. In fact, आपको बताऊंगा मैं, only 30% of the work has been shifted to cloud. So what does that mean? कि अभी तो बहुत लंबा जाना है अपने को, पिक्चर अभी बहुत बाकी है. 70% still pending. Plus cloud migration के बाद में भी continuous, there will be cyber security things will keep coming to India. So story is not going to end so fast. Mega deals in pipeline, cost takeout remains important for clients. हमें लगता है कि Infosys की earnings can grow by 15.6% in FY23 and 13.3% in FY24. Fair value हम लोगों ने 29 टाइम्स FY24 EPS पे दिया है, उसके हिसाब से हमारा फेयर वैल्यू 2100 रुपीज आता है. Infosys is in fact is our top tier 1 IT companies. We like it a lot because of the strong earnings growth trajectory. Plus, it has outperformed the TCS in terms of revenue growth. So, हमें Infosys काफी अच्छा लगता है. For next talk, I hand over to Amit.
Thank you, Sumit. Next stock idea we have is Blue Dart Express. We have a buy rating on the stock with a target price of 7975. Now, Blue Dart is one company which claims to be the market leader in air express business with almost 50% market share. And it is also one of the fastest growing ground express company with almost 17% market share. इस कंपनी के पास all the required setup है जो आगे जाके फ्यूचर में कैटर कर सकता है, जैसे कि इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, tie-ups, products offering, technology, skilled manpower और एक established brand name which is synonym to reliability and faith. और इसके पास खुद के 6 बोइंग एयरक्राफ्ट है जो कि capable है 500 टन कार्गो डेली हैंडल करने के लिए, and which is a very added advantage for the company. Company has been also continuously investing in technology, which is an added advantage. Company का जो parent है DHL, which is an MNC, brings lot of best practices in the company, which is again an added advantage. तो हमें मोटा मोटा ऐसा लगता है कि Blue Dart is well placed to be part of high growth express logistics industry in the country over the next few years. And हम लोग estimate कर रहे हैं company 34% earnings deliver करे next 3 years में we per annum, and we recommend buy on Blue Dart with a target price of 7975, which is at 50 times FY24 earnings. और हम लोग प्रीमियम इसलिए दे रहे हैं क्योंकि उसके पास डोमिनेंट मार्केट शेयर है, स्ट्रॉन्ग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, ग्रोथ रेट्स आर गुड, बैलेंस शीट इज स्ट्रॉन्ग, रिटर्न रेशियोज आर स्ट्रॉन्ग और स्ट्रॉन्ग पेरेंटेज. So Blue Dart is a buy with a target price of 7975. Over to Arun for his take on Minda Industries.
Thank you, Amit. Good evening, everyone. We'll talk on Minda Industries here. So let us just, before we start, what we like in the company, just try and understand what the business of the company is. So if you look at Minda Industries, they are present in switch, which we use in our vehicles, lights, horns, castings, seatings, and then there are other products as well. So switch is the biggest business for them, where they get around 29% revenues, followed by lights, which is around 22%. If you look at the geographical mix, they are largely in the domestic market, where 86% revenues come from the domestic business and 14% from international business. In terms of vehicles में देखेंगे तो they supply both to two-wheelers as well as four-wheelers, जिसमें कि 50-50 broadly उनका revenue mix है. और channel wise mix देखेंगे तो ये ज़्यादा करके 88% इनकी revenues आती है auto companies को supply करके products, and replacement market से 12% revenues आती है. Now, if you look at the first point that there on the slide for this company is that we expect Minda Industries to continue to perform in terms of and outperform the industry growth. अगर हम past में भी देखें तो company ने industry growth को outperform किया है, and the reasons have been that they have done multiple joint ventures किए हैं, they have done acquisitions, and they have added a lot of new products, and that has helped them grow ahead of the industry. We believe these things would continue and help the company grow. The other 3 points which are there or mentioned there also would support the company to outperform the industry, which is one we have mentioned here is increase in premiumization and import substitution. आज आप गाड़ियों में और vehicles में देखेंगे बहुत premium features आ रहे हैं, and we are focusing a lot on import substitution. We are talking a lot about localization of products. So जैसे जैसे हम localize करते हैं, companies working towards these getting newer premium products and also working on localization so that we can do import substitution there. So these things will also add up to the revenue growth for the company and help them outperform the industry. The other point is generally auto ancillary companies need to have pretty strong relationship with OEMs, and strong relationship by Minda with OEMs help them gain market shares. Providing timely products, good quality products at competitive prices help them gain market share. As I talked about, Minda is present in a lot of product categories. So good relationship with OEMs also help cross-selling of products. So this we think could also be a good factor for the company to outperform the industry growth. Apart from that, on the EV side, if we talk about, everyone talks about, is the company present on the electric vehicle segment? Are they supplying to electric vehicle company? Yes, Minda does do that thing. They have secured orders worth close to around 400 odd crore rupees from the new age two-wheeler EV OEMs, and these products are like switch lamps, alloy wheels, horn seats, telematics, and battery management system. Now, the company also has won some orders from the passenger vehicle segment as well. So all these things would translate into a good revenue growth, we believe, for the company, and we thereby are expecting around 22% CAGR revenue growth over FY21 to 25. And good revenue growth coupled with margin expansion will help the company to see a good earning growth over the coming years. And we are expecting the company's EPS, that's earning per share, to grow by 49% CAGR. That's a strong number over FY21 to 25. If you look at the balance sheet, net debt is pretty low at 0.1, 0.2 times. And the ROEs this year is expected to be around 16% for the company. Overall, we like the stock, and we have valued the stock on discounted cash flow, and we have an ad rating and a target price of 1160 on Minda Industries. Now let's hear on banking from Himal.
As you would know, recently the bank has announced an agreement to acquire the retail division of Citibank. This will strengthen the bank's position in the credit card, wealth, and retail, corporate, and CASA segment. We believe that in the credit card segment, it will gain up to 500 bps of market share. It will now be a top 3 player in the credit card segment. Plus, the credit card business is very complementary with Axis. So, Citi's credit card segment is in top 8 cities. That is where it is concentrated. Whereas Axis is more spread across both top cities and smaller cities. Secondly, it has a strong spends, and the ticket size for spend is higher for Citibank, which is also very beneficial to Axis Bank. The wealth management business of Citi is also complementary to the Axis Bank's wealth management business, which is Burgundy and other private banking segment. It has a strong granular deposit base with CASA of 81%, which will help Axis Bank take its CASA ratio above 50% from the current 44%. In the near term, because of one-time expenditure on transition, we will see a little bit of a drag on profitability in the year 2024. However, the core performance of Axis Bank is very strong and is very similar to larger peers. Excluding the Citi deal, we are factoring a performance very similar to larger players for Axis Bank. Therefore, we have a target of 960 for the stock. Now I hand it over to my colleague for his take on the stock.
Thank you, Emily. Now we'll speak on Hindalco industry. तो हिंडाल्को पे हमारा टारगेट प्राइस 650 और टारगेट प्राइस मतलब 12 महीने के व्यू के हिसाब से हमारा टारगेट प्राइस है 650 रुपया. Now why we like Hindalco? Basically the couple of reason. The aluminum market जो हम देख रहे हैं या मैनेजमेंट देख रहे हैं, is largely we are looking from a deficit perspective जहाँ डिमांड ग्रोथ ज्यादा है और सप्लाई कम है. और सेकेंडली डीलिवरेजिंग जो कंपनी ने लास्ट 2 साल में की है, definitely to take a benefit of that, company has announced a significant amount of capex in over the next 5 years. तो मतलब अगर आप देखोगे कि 2022 से लेके 27 तक जो कैपेक्स करेगी, वो करीबन नया कैपेक्स वो $6,600 करोड़ का कैपेक्स है, प्लस 200 करोड़ का मेंटेनेंस कैपेक्स है. तो करीबन जो कंपनी का ऑपरेटिंग कैश फ्लोस है, विच विल बी प्रॉब्ली सपोर्टिंग द ओवरऑल फंड, विल बी प्रॉब्ली 1100 करोड़. इससे क्या होगा, मतलब 2 चीज है. डेफिनेटली जो आपका डेट कंपनी जो पेमेंट किया था लास्ट 2 साल में काफी एग्रेसिव था, तो एक जो नेगेटिव हो सकता है, जो डिलीवरेजिंग का पेस है थोड़ा कम हो जाएगा, बट वो नेगेटिव है. वो हमारे हिसाब से वो नेगेटिव नहीं है, बिकॉज जो कंपनी जो ये पैसे ग्रोथ कैपेक्स में डाल रही है वो प्रोजेक्ट एक्रेटिव है, रेवेन्यू एक्टिव है और ईपीएस में अर्निंग्स में काफी अच्छी तरह से हेल्प करेगा इन टर्म्स ऑफ ग्रोइंग. So new projects are return accretive and could add near about almost 130 crores of EBITDA in the next years. Secondly, the capital allocation हो रहा है वो more focused on growth है rather than over a deleveraging. मतलब कोई initially 1 या 2 years के perspective से नहीं हो रहा है, ये हो रहा है over a period of next a decade or a 2 decade, जहाँ हमें एल्यूमिनियम की डेफिसिट दिखाई दे रही है और because of that जो एल्यूमिनियम के प्राइसेस है इट एक्सपेक्टेड टू रिमेन एट ऑलमोस्ट एट अ स्ट्रॉन्ग लेवल्स एंड एट एलिवेटेड लेवल्स. तो ये काफी सारे पैरामीटर्स है जहां हमें लग रहा है कि हिंडाल्को विल गेन इन द नॉन फेरस स्पेस और इसलिए विच इज वन ऑफ द टॉप पिक इन द मेटल स्पेस विद अ टारगेट प्राइस ऑफ 650. जहां हम वैल्यूएशन की बात कर रहे हैं तो हम डोमेस्टिक बिजनेस को 4.3 टाइम्स मार्च 24 के नंबर्स एबिटा पे वैल्यू कर रहे हैं और नोवेलिस जो उसकी सब्सिडरी है जिन्होंने काफी अच्छा परफॉर्म किया है लास्ट 1 साल में और आने वाले समय में भी करीबन $500 पर टन के ऊपर का एबिटा आएगा जिसको हम 7 टाइम्स मार्च 24 एबिटा पे वैल्यू कर रहे हैं. तो अगर आप दोनों को ऐड करते हो तो उस पर हमारा टारगेट प्राइस आ रहा है 650 ऑन हिंडाल्को. So Hindalco is a buy with a target price of 650. That's all from my side. Over to Purvi for his call on the pharma and on the pharma space.
Thank you, Jatin. Good evening, viewers. So healthcare space में से जो stock हमने आज चुना है is Apollo Hospitals. We have a ad rating on the stock with a fair value of 5,275, जो कि 16% upside है आज के closing से. Now, why this stock? A couple of reasons is, as we know कि Apollo Hospitals India का एक सबसे बड़ा hospital chain है having 44 hospitals across India and the bed capacity is almost 7,800 beds. पर अगर हम देखें तो ये bed capacity in terms of population is still coming out to less than 10 beds per 10,000 people. So what I'm trying to say is or make a point is कि the healthcare infrastructure is where the focus is going to be in the upcoming years. That's basically because COVID ने realize कराया हुआ है कि जब भी bed capacities कम होती है और ऐसे pandemic situations आती है, you need a lot of hospitals that need to cater to the patient pool. So during the COVID thing, we also saw that domestic and the medical tourism had stopped. So the inpatient pool had gone down significantly. But पिछले 6 या 9 महीने से अगर हम लोग देखें तो this revival in the non-COVID hospital sales has come back. And we expect कि the bigger key here is that as and when the medical tourism also starts, if we see this has been curtailed to 5 to 6% only in the last quarter so far. But अगर ये आगे जाके pre-COVID levels तक बढ़ सकता है जो कि 8 to 12% of the sales हुआ करता था most of the hospitals के लिए, if ये वापस उस levels पे जा सकता है तो then this can improve the profitability of all the hospitals. So this is a basic theme why we feel that the healthcare will outperform in the upcoming quarters. So that's all from my end. I now hand over to Rini for the question and answer session. Over to you, Rini.
Thank you, Purvi. We now open the floor for Q&A. Guys, please drop your questions in the comment section below. Starting with the first question, Arun sir, please share your views on Ultratech Cement.
Yeah, Rani. See, before going to Ultratech, let us talk a bit on the cement sector per se. The sector में आप देखेंगे तो last recent times में cost pressures बहुत high रहे हैं. And companies पहले तो काफी they were been able to pass on the price hikes, but recent quarters में जैसे third quarter के results देखें तो वहाँ पर हमने देखा है कि इनके जो EBITDA per ton है सीमेंट कंपनीज के काफी प्रेशर में रहे थे. Now उसके बाद हमने रशिया यूक्रेन वॉर देखा और वहाँ पर कोल प्राइसेस काफी बढ़ गए थे जिसकी वजह से सीमेंट स्टॉक्स में काफी करेक्शन आया था. अभी थर्ड क्वार्टर की जो रिजल्ट्स की कमेंट्री थी, मोस्ट कंपनीज ने गाइड किया था कि दे वुड सी सम मार्जिन रिकवरी इन फोर्थ क्वार्टर एंड दिस वाज ऑन द एक्सपेक्टेशन ऑफ स्ट्रॉन्ग डिमांड, fall in variable cost and seasonal price tailwinds. So demand recovery और price hike जो fourth quarter में हुई है वो हुई है, but it's not been that as on expected lines. और on the other side spot commodity prices जो हैं वो काफी बढ़ गए हैं जिससे कि हमें इनफैक्ट फर्स्ट हाफ उनकी जो अर्निंग्स आएंगे या मार्जिन्स होंगे वहां पर काफी प्रेशर दिख सकता है अगर दे आर नॉट एबल टू टेक प्राइस हाइक्स. सो recent past few days में market rally हुई है, and we have seen cement stocks have moved up higher. And Ultratech जैसे आपने पूछा है, Ultratech अभी फिलहाल हमारे टारगेट प्राइस के आसपास चल रहा है, तो फुल वैल्यूएशंस पर है. Cement stocks again, I think the key things to watch out for cement stocks would be कि कैसे ये प्राइस हाइक्स ले सकते हैं अप्रैल के मंथ में, दिस मंथ अप्रैल मई में कैसे प्राइस हाइक्स ले सकते हैं, और कमोडिटी कॉस्ट जो है, जो एनर्जी कॉस्ट है, वहां पर प्राइसेस किस तरह मूव होते हैं. बिकॉज अभी आगे डीजल कॉस्ट का भी इम्पैक्ट इन्हें आएगा फर्स्ट हाफ में, बिकॉज डीजल प्राइसेस आल्सो स्टार्टेड इंक्रीजिंग, तो लॉजिस्टिक्स कॉस्ट बढ़ेंगे सीमेंट कंपनीज के लिए. सो आई थिंक मार्जिन राइज इनके ऊपर प्रेशर रहेगा. सो प्राइस हाइक वुड बी द की फॉर सीमेंट कंपनीज गोइंग अहेड. अगेन अल्ट्राटेक currently आप देखें तो stock is closer to a target price and we have a reduced rating, so maybe stock comes down from these levels, we'll have a fresh look on the stock. Within the cement counter अगर आप देखना चाहते हैं तो थोड़ा मिड साइज कंपनी में देखें तो डालमिया भारत है और ओरिएंट स्मॉलर साइज में ओरिएंट सीमेंट है, जहां पर अभी भी अपसाइड है. You can add those stocks and corrections.
Thank you, Arun sir. Next is a follow-up question for you, Jatin, on Hindalco. What's the buying level for Hindalco at present?
See, currently, definitely, if one wants to invest from a long-term perspective, the current level is also a good level to enter into Hindalco. But it often, though investor point of view, though it's often only 10%. But yes, we are quite comfortable entering at 586, 590 also, because we are quite confident on the story in terms of deficit and the pricing remain at the elevated level. But in case if it's dip, then definitely the Hindalco become a screaming buy in the correction. So one need to keep a watch on the Hindalco, and definitely current price also a good price for entering from a longer term perspective. And if it enters, then definitely the allocation to the Hindalco should increase further.
Thank you, Jatin. Next question is for Sumit sir. Name some mid-cap IT companies with fair valuation.
Within IT mid-cap, we are very bullish on Emphasis. We believe that in fact that is our top pick in tier 2 IT companies. You can also look at Coforge, which is doing phenomenally well. Third, it's an e-commerce company, not exactly an IT company, but an e-commerce company, India Mart. We also like that. So these three stocks you can look in the IT space at this juncture.
Thank you, Sumit. Next question is for Pankaj sir. Please share your views on Praj Industries and L&T.
Thank you, Rini. So Praj Industries पे we are quite positive. In fact अपने जो हमारा जो last strategy note था वहाँ भी हमने recommend किया था, और हमने एक recently note भी निकाला है, और वहाँ पर हमारा जो positive view है, हमारी target price जो है 425 रुपए की है. So अगर प्राज को देखेंगे तो ये एक ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ एक साल का इस पे हमारा व्यू है, ये हमें मल्टी ईयर पॉजिटिव व्यू लगता है. बिकॉज अगर अपॉर्चुनिटी देखेंगे तो इथेनॉल से जो ब्लेंडिंग से जो अपॉर्चुनिटी आ रही है दैट इज करीबन 1000 करोड़ लीटर्स की है. बट द स्टोरी इज नॉट जस्ट रिलेटेड टू इथेनॉल ब्लेंडिंग. देयर आर मल्टीपल टेक्नोलॉजीज दैट द कंपनी इज वर्किंग ऑन द बायोफ्यूल साइड. So that opportunity can take to up to 4000 crore liters kind of capacity creation. तो काफी बड़ा एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है फ्यूचर में भी, एंड प्राज पे हम काफी पॉजिटिव हैं. ये स्टॉक होना चाहिए पोर्टफोलियो में. दैट्स वी हैव अ टारगेट प्राइस ऑफ 425 रुपीस एंड वी हैव बाय इट.
Thank you, Pankaj sir. Next question is for Hemali. Axis Bank versus ICICI Bank, which is good for investment?
We are bullish on both of them. The only difference between Axis and ICICI, we believe, is that ICICI has achieved the 15% ROE target that is there, and ICICI and Axis, we are hoping to see that number in FY24. So Axis has been aggressive, and if there is a strong execution, which we believe there is likely to be, then there is a strong re-rating opportunity for Axis Bank. Whereas ICICI is a low-risk compounding stock with respect to its financial numbers. So if you have, I think we believe that both the stocks are a stock that one must have in their portfolio.
Hemali, and can you please answer this next question also on HDFC and HDFC Bank merger? Please share your views.
We believe the merger is positive for the bank in the medium term. The bank gets access to a large diversified mortgage book, which is a secured, a low capital consuming book. It also gets benefits of pricing power, especially because its cost of funds are low. It will benefit from seamless cross-sell to mortgage customers of other products. In the medium term outlook, therefore, is positive for the bank. It becomes a very big market share bank with a strong presence in the market across products. Some near-term concerns are one, regulatory concerns with respect to the organizational structure. The bank will end up owning a large percentage of shareholding in insurance companies for which RBI approval will be required, and that will be the first for RBI to approve shareholding of more than 10% by a bank in an insurance company. It will have to have a certain liability side adjustment with respect to CRR and SLR for the liabilities of the corporation. As I mentioned, ROE is going to be a little bit dilutive in the near term because the mortgage book is a low margin product, but it's a secure product and a low risk product. So overall, for a medium term, it's positive for the bank.
Thank you, Hemali. Next question is for Shrikant sir. What is target for Nifty from 1 year perspective?
Yeah, sure. I think, see, if we go through with fundamentals, then as per the EPS of 954 for the financial year 24, if we calculate that with the multiples of, let's say, 22, then it comes to 20,100 sort of levels. But if we calculate with the multiples of somewhere close to 19, then it comes to 18,100 or 18,200. So what I'm going to say is that based on fundamentals on which we are arriving from the perspective of financial year 2024, I think we are very close to the highest point of the multiples. But now there are like certain things which are again supporting to the market. There are like few tailwinds in the market which can change the picture overall for the Indian markets. We need to see that how actually quarterly earning comes, how the corporates comments and gives guidance. Based on that also, it will reflect the next particular course of action for the market. But based on technicals, we are of the view that now the market is shifting its base. A lot of things are happening which are like which we were not expecting in the short term after the specific development on the war side. हमें लगता था कि क्रूड जो है वो बढ़ गया है और काफी 120 130 के लेवल्स पे शायद ये मेंटेन रहेगा, लेकिन वहां पे हमने थोड़ी सी गिरावट देखी है। साथ ही साथ हमें आने वाले दिनों में लगता था कि करेंसी में थोड़ा और वीकनेस आएगा, लेकिन करेंसी में उतनी वीकनेस अभी तक नहीं बनी है। और जो आने वाले दिनों में जो अभी क्रेडिट पॉलिसी है या तो जो इंटरेस्ट रेट के ऊपर जो कमेंट्री आएगी फ्रॉम फेड चीफ, उसके ऊपर भी ध्यान रहेगा। तो हमें लगता है कि मार्केट जो है वो एक अलग डायरेक्शन में आ चुका है। बट साथ ही साथ हमें ये नहीं बोलना चाहिए कि वी आर वेरी क्लोज टू द हाईएस्ट पॉइंट ऑफ द रेंज। तो जब तक मार्केट 18,600 को कॉन्फिडेंटली क्रॉस नहीं करता, तब तक हमें लगता है कि इस पर्टिकुलर रेंज में बिटवीन 18,000 टू 18,600 या 500, इस रेंज में हमें लगता है कि कुछ मुनाफा वसूली करे, take some profit on long position, or one can liquidate weak long positions between these levels if there is any correction because of any reason. Even after like there is like some maybe negative outcomes on the earnings and all, if we see any drop in the market, मुझे लगता है उस केस में भी हमें लगता है कि कुछ सिलेक्टिव स्टॉक्स में बिल्कुल खरीदारी की जा सकती है। और इसीलिए हम बार बार उन्हीं स्टॉक्स को रिकमेंड करते हैं कि जहां पे हमें लगता है कि काफी अच्छा एक ओवरऑल बेस बिल्डिंग फॉर्मेशन हो चुका है, काफी स्ट्रॉन्ग फंडामेंटल्स है। फ्यूचर में हम काफी सारे नए चेंजेस इस पर्टिकुलर कंपनीज में देख रहे हैं और इनकी जो लीडरशिप है वो उनके सेक्टर में और बढ़ती जाने वाली है। और इसी वजह से हमें लगता है कि हम हमारे जो ऑडियंस को इन स्टॉक्स को रिकमेंड करने के जो पीछे का जो एक मोटिव होता है वो यही होता है कि अगर कभी भी अगर मार्केट में अगर करेक्शन आता है तो बिल्कुल आप इन स्टॉक्स को सिलेक्ट कीजिए, चूज कीजिए। हमने इन्फोसिस कई बार रिकमेंड किया है, हिंडाल्को किया है, अपोलो हॉस्पिटल किया है, लार्सन भी हमने कई बार रिकमेंड किया है। तो इन्हीं स्टॉक्स के साथ आप रहिए। आपने देखा होगा कि कैसे मार्केट में रिकवरी बनती है। तो टेक्निकली अगर देखा जाए तो जब तक मार्केट 18,600 को क्रॉस नहीं करता तब तक मार्केट एक रेंज के अंदर रहेगा। बेस इंप्रूव हो चुका है, बेस शिफ्ट हो चुका है। अभी हमें नहीं लगता कि मार्केट वापस 15,600 के लेवल्स को रिपीट करेगा। यस, पॉसिबल है कि शायद मार्केट एक बार 17,000 या 16,500 के लेवल्स को भी छू सकता है, लेकिन ये एक बिगेस्ट अपॉर्चुनिटी रहेगी इन्वेस्टर्स के लिए टू अगेन इन्वेस्ट इन द मार्केट्स। और आने वाले दिनों में हमें लगता है कि ये पर्टिकुलर क्वार्टरली नंबर्स के बाद वापस एक बार हमें देखना पड़ेगा कि कॉर्पोरेट्स ने एक्चुअली कैसे परफॉर्म किया है।
Thank you, Shrikant sir. Pankaj sir, you missed answering my question on L&T. Can you please share your views on L&T, please?
Yes. So L&T पे हमारा पॉजिटिव व्यू है. We have a buy recommendation and we have a target price of 2,200 rupees. L&T we have been pitching for a long time and this is the best pick in the infra and the construction space. अगर order book की बात करेंगे तो कंपनी के पास more than 3.5 lakh crore order book is there and the order pipeline is also quite strong, giving the opportunity of more than 9 lakh crore kind of opportunity. थोड़ा रिसेंटली कंसर्न आया है कि लाइक जीएसटी कलेक्शन तो हुआ है बट उसका स्पेंडिंग में भी क्रूड प्राइसेस बढ़ गए हैं तो वहां पर क्रॉस जो उसकी वजह से इंफ्रा में कैपेक्स थोड़ा स्लो डाउन हो जाएगा. लेकिन हमें ऐसा लगता है कि वो रोड में थोड़ा हो सकता है, लेकिन L&T इज क्वाइट डाइवर्सिफाइड and they have in fact presence in hydrocarbon where the capex will pick up. So we are positive on L&T and इसमें हम earnings का more than 20% core business में earnings growth देख रहे हैं and even the valuation is also quite attractive at around 15-16 times in the core business. So L&T पे we have a buy with a target price of 2,200 rupees.
Thank you, Pankaj sir. Guys, due to time constraint, we will take only a couple questions now. Next question is for Purvi. Purvi, is there any value left in Tata Power?
Thanks, Rini. So on Tata Power, we have a sell rating with the fair value of 200 rupees. That is almost 20% downside from the today's closing. Now, why do we have a sell rating? Mainly, if you see for the last 2 quarters, the numbers have been strong on the back of improved coal margin, which was at $40 per ton in Q3. But we feel that the prices of this imported coal have started reversing aggressively, and there was also some power deficit that was experienced, which has started easing post the monsoon. So we do not see the benefits of fuel pass-through as well as higher margins of the coal business to sustain in the near future. So we have a sell rating on the stock, and we see that there could be a downside, and the fair value is 200 rupees.
Thank you, Purvi. Next question is from the auto space. Arun sir, can you share your views on Hero MotoCorp?
So for Hero MotoCorp, currently we have a reduced rating. In terms of performance, if you look at the domestic two-wheeler numbers have been coming pretty weak. Even on first, when the companies reported the numbers, we saw most of the companies in the domestic two-wheeler space reporting weaker numbers where there was a downside. For the full year basis, we have seen the two-wheeler segment for the past 3 years now seeing a volume decline, which I really don't remember for many years where we have seen such significant decline in the two-wheeler volumes. One of the reasons here is that there has been significant increase in the ownership cost of two-wheelers over the past few years. That's because of transition from BS4 to BS6. Then there has been pretty steep commodity inflation, which has led to price hikes in the product. And accordingly, we are currently also seeing some bit of slowdown on the rural side, which is impacting demand. Overall, we believe currently going forward, if going forward, the overall demand, especially in the entry-level two-wheeler segment, could remain a bit subdued. And we have a reduced rating on the stock for Hero MotoCorp. In the two-wheeler space, we like Bajaj Auto. The reason being that the company has got good exposure on the export market, where 50% of volumes come from exports. There, the overall demand has been relatively strong. And the company is also present in three-wheelers, which is seeing recovery after a sharp downturn, which we saw post-COVID. Apart from that, we believe the company has not got any presence in scooters, and with EVs, they have already re-entered into scooters now with EV. And if they're able to gain some market share, that would be an added benefit for Bajaj Auto going ahead. So in the two-wheeler space, we like Bajaj Auto.
Thank you, Arun. We will take one last question. Sumit, is TCS a buy?
We are bullish on the entire IT story because of the strong demand pedigree. Obviously, larger companies, bigger companies has a much diversified portfolio. They can, in fact, take care of the rise in the cost very well as compared to this. If you look at the Accenture result and the commentary from the, you can see the demand outlook is very strong out in the US and European countries. So we are very bullish on IT space, considering the digital transformation, the cloud, the metaverse, which we are talking about, that makes the entire world as a virtual world. The scope for these opportunities are huge. So we recommend, we are bullish on TCS also. You can add the stock on every day.
Thank you, Sumit. We end the Q&A session now. Shrikant sir, would you like to give some closing comments?
Yeah, I think markets are very close to its important resistance limits, but at the same time, we cannot forget that the markets are always markets cannot be wrong. I can say the reason is because we never come to know that what is really happening in the market. And when the market was recovering from the lower level, that time also we saw a major outperformance in HDFC Bank, जहाँ पे सोचा नहीं था कि ऐसा कुछ बजट डील आ जाएगा, और उसके बाद इनफैक्ट ये एक डील आने के बाद हमने 18,000 के लेवल्स को भी क्रॉस होते हुए देखा है. So maybe in the future if something certain sort of things comes, तो क्या होगा कि मार्केट का जो बेस है वो और इम्प्रूव होते जाएगा. शायद अगर रिलायंस अपना डीमर्जर अगर अनाउंस कर दे तब मार्केट बढ़ सकता है, क्योंकि सबसे बढ़िया अगर कुछ इस पर्टिकुलर मार्केट में पिछले 2 या 3 साल में अगर हुआ है तो वो यही है कि जितनी भी स्ट्रॉन्ग कॉर्पोरेट्स है कि जहाँ पे स्ट्रॉन्ग विजिबिलिटी है और जहाँ पे बिजनेसेस आर वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग, बट एट द सेम टाइम उनकी मल्टीपल्स या तो उनके वेटेज अगर आप देखेंगे तो वेटेज भी काफी हाई है, और उनके मल्टीपल्स भी जो है वो आने वाले दिनों में बढ़ते जा रहे हैं बिकॉज ऑफ दी ओवरऑल विजिबिलिटी. तो इन्हीं वजह से क्या हो रहा है कि मार्केट का जो बेस है वो एक लेवल पे आके आई कैन से कि शिफ्ट होते जा रहा है. कुछ सालों तक हम लोग 12,000 11,000 के लेवल्स दिख रहे थे, अभी 15,000 के लेवल्स भी हम मार्केट में नहीं दिख रहे हैं. तो ये क्लियरली इंडिकेट करता है कि मार्केट का जो बेस है वो और इम्प्रूव होते जाएगा आने वाले दिनों में. और अगर यहाँ से अगर आफ्टर स्पेसिफिक ये जो यूक्रेन और रशिया के बीच का जो वॉर है, अगर वहां पे अगर कुछ भी अगर रिजोल्यूशन आता है, क्रूड में अगर कुछ करेक्शन अगर आ जाता है, तो हमें लगता है कि इस मार्केट में हमें अच्छी खासी और बड़ी तेजी देखने मिलेगी. हमने कई बार हमारे मार्केट स्ट्रेटेजी में या स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक वेबिनार में एक बात हमेशा कही है कि कीप एडिंग गुड कंपनीज टू योर पोर्टफोलियो. और आपने देखा होगा कि जब मार्केट अभी वापस रिकवर हुआ तो सबसे पहले अगर आपने देखा होगा कि वापस लार्ज कैप कंपनीज ने काफी अच्छे रिटर्न्स दिए हैं, फिर चाहे वो एक्सिस बैंक हो या एचडीएफसी बैंक हो या तो फिर लार्सन एंड टूब्रो. सो इन्हीं स्टॉक्स के साथ आप बने रहिए. नो डाउट कि मिड कैप स्टॉक्स में जो भी पोजीशंस जितने भी इन्वेस्टमेंट आइडियाज होते हैं वहां पे भी हमारा फोकस होता है. वहां के भी जो अच्छे गिने चुने स्टॉक्स हैं वहां पे भी रिकमेंडेशंस देते रहते हैं, जैसे कि एजिस लॉजिस्टिक है कि जहाँ पे हमें लगता है कि और भी आने वाले दिनों में बढ़िया स्कोप है कि अच्छे रिटर्न्स कमाए जा सकते हैं. ये जो स्टॉक्स होते हैं वो हमारे पीक ऑफ द वीक सेशन में हम कवर करते हैं. तो आप बने रहिए हमारे साथ, और हमारे जितने भी अपडेट्स हैं वो आपको टेलीग्राम पे भी मिलेंगे, शायद ट्विटर्स पे मिलेंगे. और अगर आप हमारे साथ बने रहेंगे तो हमें लगता है कि बिल्कुल आपकी जो इन्वेस्टमेंट जर्नी होगी वो काफी फायदेमंद रहेगी. थैंक यू.
Thank you, Shrikant sir. So dear viewers, hope you found our webinar useful. If you are curious for more research updates like these, do check out Kotak Securities Telegram, Twitter and Instagram channels if you haven't already. And we are doing chemical sector special webinar with Jatin Damania on 12th April at 4 p.m. So note it down in your calendar. See you then. Thank you for joining us today. Have a great evening ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Rini.
Thank you.